Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange. We have a great show for you guys today before the 4th of July weekend. But I want to ask Ernie, how you doing out there, dude?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for tuning in. We're enjoying this long weekend, 4th of July week. It's an exciting time. Best time of baseball, summertime. Let's get it.
Summertime. All right, man. We're gonna go over the AL NL recap. All-star finalists are the Mets for real. We'll talk about that. The Padres are heating up, and that's a team that you don't want to mess with if they get super hot into the playoffs. So the Yankees they're not looking all that great right now. They haven't won a lot of games in the past 10 games. And we're gonna go over our power rankings all here on Real Talk Baseball. So, welcome everybody to our show, man. It's a live show. If we mess up, it's because it's live, raw. It's just real footage, and we can't edit anything that we say here. So, Ernie, before we start the show, I want to ask you, since the Dodgers Giant rivalry happened this series
Ooh.
happened this weekend, do you see in any sports? It could be baseball, boxing, it could be soccer, it could be anything. Do you see a rivalry that comes to mind for you? That's one of the top in anything.
Well, when we talk baseball, for me, the biggest one is the Yankees Red Sox if we're thinking East Coast. And when we're talking West Coast, definitely Dodgers and Giants is just up there. If you're any West Coast baseball fan, you would say that's the biggest rivalry. When I think about other sports, the game of football, soccer, you name it, Europe, you got the Real Madrid Barcelona. That's a pretty big one out there. For any soccer fanatics out there, that's, I think, the biggest rivalry out there, in my
That
opinion.
yeah,
And then in
soccer.
basketball, you
Uh-huh.
have Lakers Celtics. We can't forget of the 80s NBA Finals when we had Larry Bird against Magic Johnson. That renewed that rivalry.
Yeah, yeah. And what's number one for you? Like out of all of them?
Oh, for me, it's Lakers Celtics.
Oh,
I guess growing up as a Laker fan, you do recall all the times the Celtics beat the Lakers in the 60s and watching the Lakers come back to win in 2010 with Kobe Bryant and facing the big three, which was Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and who else is it? Oh, Paul Pierce. Yes. So
Paul
those three
Pierce.
guys, I hated them with the most I could hate. And man, I hated those guys. So watching Kobe get his fifth ring against them was one of the most memorable moments in my life.
Ah, nice, dude. Nice. Well, I'm gonna tell you which one I think. I think it's the I'm gonna go boxing. It's gonna be country against country. Puerto Rico against Mexico, and boxing is one of the top. You add the Philippines to it and Cuba, man. So all those four are big time rivalries. When you see a boxing match, I know boxing is not the same like it was back then, but it's kind of like when you bring baseball into boxing and all these countries into the WBC. It all gets together and all that big rivalry happens. So it's cool, man. I do like the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers rivalry because I do root for the Lakers, so it's like I do feel that intensity. So let's get on with our show, man. Let's start with the AL recap. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, definitely. Let's get that started. For the AL recap, we have the Twins versus the Mariners this week. The Twins went ahead and won 2 out of 3 games in Seattle. The Seattle continues to struggle offensively and doesn't look like it's getting any better. Looks like they're going to have to look for a bat in their lineup. And they have now lost four of their last series, which is kind of concerning. Also, are 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they're considered first place. So we never know. Jamal makes a great point. Do the Rangers have what it takes to come back and win the AOS, or is it the Astros? And then we go into the Rockies and White Sox. The White Sox actually won 2 out of 3. Sorry, I was already thinking the Rockies won, but my apologies. The White Sox went ahead and won 2 out of 3, guys. I know it's a shocker, but they had strong performances from Drew Thorpe and Garrett Crochet, which now has 6 double-digit strikeouts this season, which is really impressive, and it's a guy that's definitely being looked around by a lot of teams. We have the Guardians versus the Royals. The Royals went ahead and won 3 out of 4, which is kind of shocking for that AL Central rivalry. And Seth Lugo now is the winner, has the most wins in the AL, has the lead in the ERA, and also has thrown the most innings pitched. One of the biggest signings the Royals had this season. We have the Nationals and Rays. The Rays went ahead and won 2 out of 3, and they won their last 4 series, and now they sit at 500 going into July. So,
Yep.
hey, the Rays are still out there. I know a lot of people see them as sellers, but they're still out there competing. We have the Yankees versus the Blue Jays. The Yankees went ahead and split the series with the Blue Jays this week. We had George Springer hitting 2 3-run home runs on Friday. And then Saturday, we had a pretty interesting incident where Marcus Stroman gets really upset at Gleyber Torres for missing a play at short. And he goes off into the dugout and starts screaming, and he's really upset. And then you just see Aaron Judge, which we'll have a clip later, but the captain steps up and calls him out and tells him, you need to calm down, cut it out. That's not what we do here, which is really impressive. This is the first time I see Aaron Judge, the captain, say something, which is good. We have the Tigers and Angels. The Angels went ahead and won 3 out of the 4 games. What? The Angels? Yes. The Tigers went ahead and won today and snapped the Angels' 6-game winning streak, which the Angels have been playing much better, guys. Their bullpen is playing much better, and offensively, Logan O'Hoppe has been one of our impressive catchers, a guy that you must watch. He hits back-to-back games with a game-winning home run, so that's good to see from him. Lastly, we have the last games here, the Padres and Red Sox. The Padres went ahead and won the first 2 games of the series. Red Sox won today, but the Padres, man, what's going on with them? They're getting the hottest team in baseball, showing offensive numbers like we've never seen. Jurickson Profar is every time that guy gets in some drama, it just seems like the Padres step up for him. So that's good to see. Lastly, we have the Orioles and Rangers. Orioles went ahead and won 3 out of 4. Wyatt Langford did hit for a cycle today, like Jamal mentioned here, one of our listeners. But obviously the Orioles, I know he's a big Orioles fan out there. They're playing great baseball, man. And Gunnar Henderson keeps showing why he could potentially be an AL MVP down the road.
Yeah, and I agree, man. And we'll get into the Yankees and the Orioles and the Rangers, everybody, because it's getting to that point to where we're mid-season and trades are going to happen. He had a good question earlier. We'll go ahead and post it a little later. If you're out there and you haven't hit that like, go ahead and hit that like, and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe. Or ask questions here. We'll go ahead and we'll gladly answering them right now. So I'll start with the National League weekend recap. So the Marlins and the Phillies faced off. They split the series. They had a 4-game series in Philadelphia, and the Marlins won 2, and of course the Phillies won 2 as well. They split. So the Phillies haven't been playing up to par like to where they've been playing lately, but they're still in first place. They still have the best record. In their last 10, they're 6-4. Astros and Mets, and this is where we got to see a little bit of intensity from Altuve, and we'll show the video a little bit later, but that series, the Astros won 2 out of 3, and we've been talking about the Mets, how they've been heating up a little bit, and that's it's on our title, and we'll talk about that later. We have the Pirates and the Braves. Braves took 2 out of 3 on that one. Both teams are not playing all that well. Last week they were playing a lot better. Now they're 5-5. Both of them are 5-5 in their last 10. Reds and Cardinals, they had a 4-game series. They split that. And the Cardinals are playing a lot better baseball. They're in their last 10, they won 7 games. So watch out for the Cardinals. They're only 6.5 behind the Brewers. Trades are coming. Maybe they will look to try to trade with the Angels. We never know. You got the A's, the D-backs, and you got the D-backs winning 2 out of 3 on that one. The D-backs haven't been playing all that well, but they are 5-5 in the last 10. They're looking to pick it up against the Dodgers next week, and they always do good against the Dodgers, so just watch out with that one. Then you have my Dodgers against the Giants. They didn't do so well. We talked about the rivalry week. The Giants look a little bit like they picked it up this week, and they put a beating on the Dodgers today. They took 2 out of 3 out of that one. They haven't been playing good baseball. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and the Dodgers are 6-4 in their last 10, but I know the Giants are going to do something this offseason. They have their pitchers coming back off of injuries, so there might be a contending team going into the wild card. And then you have the Cubs and Brewers. The Cubs are playing horrible. They lost 2 out of 3 against the first place Brewers. The Brewers have won 6 out of the last 10. The Cubs only 3 of the last 10, and that's not good for the Cubs. So I don't know if you heard of Cody Bellinger might get trade. Whoever needs that lefty bat, he's going to be available because he's only had that 1-year contract, and I don't know if the Cubs are going to want to sign him. I know they got a 2-year contract, right? Not just one. I believe it's 2 years. So there's talks out there. So we'll see what happens. And that was the AL NL recap. So, dude, was there any series that you saw that was really interesting this weekend?
Oh, there was plenty of them. We had the Guardians Royals. I did not see the Royals picking it up and beating the Guardians 3 out of the 4. And like you said, Seth Lugo's definitely performing really well. Bobby Witt, it's just great performances from him. But that was definitely one. The Yankees Blue Jays was kind of interesting because the Blue Jays have to pick it up. It's a team that it's on the hot seat right now. A lot of players may potentially be traded pretty soon. So I saw a lot of guys picking it up this weekend, competing against the Yankees. And then the Giants and Dodgers. The Giants played really great this week. You could tell they were trying their hardest to beat the Dodgers. Obviously,
Yeah.
Mookie Betts said early in the season it's going to be every team's championship. But the Giants did come up and show up. And
Yeah.
yes, they lost on Saturday, but overall they took it serious, which is kind of impressive.
Yeah. And any word on Freddie Freeman? Well, he just came out because they were getting slaughtered. It was just kind of like a thing where they wanted to give him a little rest. So
Okay.
nothing from where I've heard that it's something wrong with him. They just sat out the players so they can give the other players that don't have a lot of at bats, like a Chris Taylor, more at bats, and he did pretty good today, which was kind of amazing to see. But yeah, there's really nothing wrong with Freddie Freeman. I think it was just more of a rest thing. So I'll go ahead and answer your question right now, Jamal. You put one earlier about hold on, let me go ahead and put it on here. Speaking about the Mets, and you were saying that are they going to make any trading deadline? Are they going to make a trade? And of course, they need a starting pitcher, and I think everybody needs a starting pitcher right now. You're looking at every team that's out there. Everybody's pitcher or ace has hit the IL this year so far. So, Ernie, I know you might not agree with me on this one, but I think the only starting pitcher that I see, and we went and see him last Wednesday at Angel Stadium, is Tyler Anderson. He
Ooh.
might be available for the Mets, and he has a good ERA, dude. If he goes to the Mets, that'll be a different starting pitching rotation. Tyler Anderson is only throwing 263 ERA, dude. You add that to Jose Quintanilla, you add him to Luis Severino, Shamanea, and Adrian Hauser's not the best pitcher, but I mean, you can swap out with Tyler Maggio or Peterson if he's out there available, because I know he just came off the IL. But if the Mets are looking to contend, I think that's going to be Tyler Anderson's going to be one of those things. And if you want to get rid of salary, and this is probably what you're going to like, Ernie, is if you add Rendon to that mix to trade to the Mets, because they need a third baseman as well. Don't just
They
think that
do.
they can put anybody out there. If they put him out there and they trade and they take half of his salary, damn, the Angels win on that one. The Mets win on that one. Everybody's happy. What do you think?
No, definitely. I just feel the Mets are going to stay put. I know they have another ace that is on the IL right now. Kodai Senga is a guy
Yeah.
that really expected huge things from him this year. And unfortunately, he went down this early in the season. So once I think he makes a return, I think they're wishing that he'll be the next ace they have there, their rotation. But the huge impact was Francisco Alvarez. It's a guy that missed some time early in the season, and he's made a huge impact for the Mets. This has been one of the most impressive months in Mets history in a while. It's a
Yeah.
team that was 23-35 when June entered, and then they won the last 16 of the last 20, and they've been the hottest team in baseball. So for me, the Mets, I know they want to compete, but their GM and owner know that this was not supposed to be the year. Their year is supposed to be 2025 and after. So I see them staying put for now and keeping their players just as this. And if they can make a run for the wild card, great. And if not, they know that next year is the answer. But they
Okay.
still have a lot of talent in that team, and I think they're going to stay put.
Do you think they're going to? Okay. Remember, we talked about the Mets being sellers, and we were like, okay, they're not going to do anything, but they picked it up all of a sudden. And every team that makes it to the playoffs has a story. Now go ahead and play a little clip. You send me this at work, and we posted it on Instagram, so I'll show a little clip of that.
Wow,
That's
amazing. As you guys can see,
fun,
Jose
right?
Iglesias. Jose Iglesias, known as Candelita, artistic name, dropped his new single and was able to perform in front of thousands of fans in Citi Field. And looks like the team is vibing, man. They're having a great chemistry out there. They're enjoying and having a great time. So it's exciting to see the Mets, man, win, because they swept the Padres earlier this month. They went ahead and swept the Yankees on a 2-game series, which was shocking for the New York fans. And who would have saw this coming? We always think about the Mets being like the lower level team, but not this year, man. They're competing, playing 500 ball, but they still have a chance, and everybody has a chance in that National League. So good for them, man.
I agree. And you know what? There's always a story when you make the team, when you make it to playoffs, or you have that run for the playoffs. And this could be the thing for the Mets that inspires them. Like, if you didn't know, Jose Iglesias, it has the #1 hit song right now on iTunes. So that's pretty crazy. I didn't know a baseball player sang, and everybody on the dugout was singing with him. So that's cool. That's cool. That probably brings the team together, and that's why they're playing a lot better baseball. So let's go ahead and move on. I think we went over to the Mets, but we'll go ahead and start with the All Star thing. And if you haven't seen the All Star ballots or you haven't seen who's leading on that, we'll go ahead and post them out here. And I don't know, dude. I don't agree with the National League. I agree more with the American League because they're more stacked on that side. Do you agree with this list, or am I just being pity about it?
Oh man, you're being pity, man. The National League's not too bad. Besides Brandon Marsh and Nick Castellanos, you easily got to remove those guys. I think it's just a lot of Philly fans out there voting. They definitely don't deserve to be in the All Star starting lineup. If you give me Profar, Yelich, and Teoscar Hernandez, that's a good choice for me. I would have never seen that coming early in the season because, it's just not guys that were not performing that well besides Teoscar.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber kind of shocks me. I think Marcelo Zuna should have been there. But I think Shohei still will take the lead. Unfortunately, JT Realmuto will be missing the All-Star game, so I think Willie Contreras is going to get it there. Alec Baum or Manny Machado, I think definitely Baum deserves it there. That's one Philly I do agree with. Bryce Harper is a number one choice for that one. Mookie Betts will definitely be out as well, so Trey Turner will get that one. And this is one where I'm kind of tricky. Ketel Marte and Luis Arias, which I think they're both playing extremely great baseball. I think I just like Luis Arias lately. I think he's performing at a much better level. I didn't see him doing so well coming to the Padres, but he is. He's looking like the modern day Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Nick Castellanos, what the hell is he doing on there? You have other players that deserve to be there, like Jackson Merrill can be probably there. He's been killing it this past 2 weeks, and he's been playing a lot more better baseball than this guy. This guy's only batting 222 with 11 home runs. There's a lot of players that are batting like 11 home runs, 222. Like you said, though, the Philly fans did go out, they showed out, they voted. It's just when this happens, and this is what I hate about fan voting, because when you have fan voting, they're only going to vote for their players. And come on, am I going to vote for a freaking player from the Dodgers that's not producing like a Chris Taylor? Imagine Chris Taylor was on that roster, dude. Like, that'll look really super bad. Are you trying to win in your division in the All-Star game? I know it's just All-Star game, whatever, but bragging rights sometimes kick in. And the American League has won year after year after year, and this is why. This is the reason. Look at the American League. The American League is super stacked, dude. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm gonna be honest.
You're putting your money on the American League this year. That's what you're telling me,
dude. If they win 11 in a row, why wouldn't I?
No, definitely. If you look at the American League, it's really stacked from top to bottom, and I think all those guys are deserving of being a starter. I don't see. Maybe the only one I question. No, I don't question none of them. There is a couple Orioles players that are in there, but I don't see them as starters. They definitely do belong in the All-Star game, like Ryan Mountcastle or Jordan Westberg. Yeah, I think those guys are doing great, but I don't see them as finalists and being the starters. But man, this is a great year. It's a great year of baseball. A lot of unexpected players that we did not see coming. It's going to be a lot of first-timers in the All-Star game as well. We do have guys like Teoscar. I never seen him in the All-Star game. Steven Kwan's finally getting an opportunity to be in there. Anthony Santander. Guys that are finally getting recognized for the potential and their great stats this year.
Definitely. Kevin Mona, how's it going, dude? He's saying fan voting can ruin it. So the year that the Royals had like almost the entire starting lineup, and I remember that, dude.
Back in 2015. It felt like it was the whole Royal lineup with Mike Trout in it.
I do. It was like, what was it, 2014?
15 or 14?
Yeah, it's one. I remember that. Dang, dude.
No,
See, but that's what happens. That's what happens when you have like fan voting. And I kind of feel like, I'm more of a National League. I mean, as you guys know, I'm a Dodger fan, of course, but like it's kind of like I don't know. I don't agree with it, dude. Imagine if it was still part of where like you have to win your All-Star game so you can get home field advantage. Remember, that was in the early 2000s. It went up to 2015, right? Exactly. That made it a little bit more fun. Like, I'm hoping the National League wins, and not like that. We're not going to win like that. Are you kidding me? Like, putting a Nick Castellanos in that lineup? Like, no. That's not going to help, dude. So,
and Jamal brings a good point. Trey Turner did miss significant time earlier in the year. So, I don't know, Jamal, who will you put as a shortstop there to start? Because that is a tricky one now with Mookie going down, Do you put a Frankie Lindor in there? I know there's other guys out there, but that's a good
dude.
question.
Dude, the Padres have nothing but shortstops in their lineup, so they can probably put someone there. We were talking about Jackson Merrill, like how he's been killing it and how he's been playing a lot of good baseball. But we'll get a little bit into it right now. I want to still go over the rules that they changed for the home run derby, and you want to go ahead and go through them.
Yeah, definitely. So MLB has announced that there are new rules going into the home run derby this year, and July 15. We'll start off with the first round where 8 batters will face one another with the top 4 advancing, and the tie will be broken by the longest home run in the first round. I really like this style. There's no longer going to be matchups, so now all 8 hitters will get a chance to bat, and the 4 best hitters will go face each other. It will be a bracket style, like type of playoffs. Number 1 seed will face a 4 seed. The 2 seed will face a 3 seed. And then, but the rules, this was the most interesting part. We are finally going to have a 3-minute round, 40 pitches, 1 timeout, and 3 bonus outs, which means every swing is a home run or an out. I don't know. Do you like this rule? Do you like the changes?
Me personally, the home run derby kind of, like, I guess when I was younger, I was all into it, really into it, and that was more like of a 10 out, right? And if you
Yes,
get
that's
10
fun.
out, you get out, and it didn't matter how many swings you got, it didn't matter how many home runs you got. You still had to go to the next round and get more home runs from the next next guy. I think the minute thing is the minutes and the time home run. I think it's good, but 40 swings, dude, it's competitive, and you go 3 rounds. That's a lot. I
Definitely.
mean, it's fun. It's fun as a fan, but I can only imagine as a player like how exhausting it is. I don't know if there's any players that has come forward and said I want to be part of the home run derby this year.
There
So
has been
um,
one now,
just one,
and it
okay.
was just announced on Sunday Night Baseball. Guess who it is? I'm not going to tell you
Aaron
since you don't know.
Aaron Judge.
Don't actually, Aaron Judge, I don't think will be participating this year, but Gunnar Henderson has been the
Okay,
first player to step up to the home run derby and see how he'll be able to handle that field in Globe Life Field, which you've been there before, right? It's a
yeah, I've
nice
been there.
park.
It's a nice park. It's air conditioning.
Nice.
You can't smell the grass because there's really no grass. But it's a nice park. I mean, it's nice for what it is. It's better than where they were playing before with all that hot summer sun hitting the
Oh,
players. Now they have a
Arlington.
roof. So I mean, it's a nice stadium. The ball does fly depending on when they turn on the air conditioning and when they turn it off. So but yeah, I think it's going to be a good all-star game there in the home run derby, but we only have one. They need 7 more. Is there anybody that you can think of that can be in part of that, you know, home run derby?
Oh man, give me Anthony Santander, his teammate there. You know,
Damn.
have to have 2 Orioles in there. We definitely have to have a Philly in there.
A
Mm,
Philly. Yeah.
give me a Guardian. Give me one of the Nader brothers. Go smack the ball. They could hit it out
And
there.
so and dude, yeah, so they can get celebrate all crazy. Like these guys are on it, dude. I like that. Who else? Who
Yeah.
else?
Let's see. Give me Bobby Witt. I think I need to see him there.
Oh, so we can get the battle of the
Mm,
shortstops, dude.
yeah.
That'll be
What do you think
dope.
about
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez? I mean, he does have 23 home runs. That would be a great one there too.
He did it. I want to say he did it last year or 2 years ago, and he didn't
He
do
did.
so good. And I think he's probably gonna give it to one of the younger guys. So Bobby Witt would be perfect for that. One of the other guys they asked was Teoscar Hernandez. You know how he was on the tear hitting home runs.
Yes.
He said if they invite him, he would go. I think from what I heard is that they don't want to let Otani go because he just had Tommy John surgery and
Right.
that kind of ruin stuff. And I mean, it is a competitive thing that they're going to. So
And
I
and
think
then
that
if another player I would add would be Wyatt Langford, since he plays for the Rangers. I think you always have to have a guy that does play for that stadium. Since he already knows
definitely.
the field, he'll have
Yep.
home field advantage. He is a rookie. They hit it for a cycle today. I don't see Corey Seager competing. He did get hit in the wrist. We do have a video for you guys later. But yeah, Corey Seager, don't see it happening now with the given the fact that he got hit by a pitch earlier on Saturday. So
Yep.
kind of concerning.
Yep. Are you looking forward to the All Star game though?
I am. You know,
Yeah.
every year I try to tell myself like, it's the same thing as always, but you know, I'm trying to stay positive this year and hope that we see some young talent there. The game of baseball is definitely growing. You got guys like Paul Skeens. Will he be an all-star? Which I do think he is deserving. He does bring a lot of fans, and you know, it's a guy that does have some nasty stuff that should be considered an all-star game. You do got guys like Mason Miller, which is playing really great ball.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys out there, bro. That has to be in there.
That's definitely, and we can't pick pitchers, so pitchers are chosen by their performance or by the coach. So that's the way it should be. You know, that's the way if you're leading in your in a category in pitching or something, or even in hitting, I think that should be the reward. You know, being the reward, competitiveness, and try to be the star for your all star, be the starter. Let's move on, dude. Let's go to the Padres. Unless you have something else to say about the All Star game.
Oh man, last mentions. I'm gonna be in Hawaii while this All Star game is going on, so it's gonna be weird watching the All Star game at 3 p.m. I don't know how this is gonna feel because I'm so used to
Yeah.
watching the baseball game, in the summer night, 5 to 8 o'clock here in the West Coast. But now it's gonna be from like 3 to 6, and it's gonna feel definitely weird. But I'm excited to be in Hawaii and watching baseball.
Dude, I was in Hawaii when the Giants won the World Series. I did not see any baseball just because the Giants were in the World Series. And so that worked out perfect.
Oh my god, you're like fuck baseball. I don't care for it right
Man, I
now.
don't care about it right now. So, all right, let's move on, man. Let's go ahead and talk about the Padres. And one of the things that I wanted to show is that, I mean, the Padres are playing good baseball. Their last 16 or 18 games, they're 12-6. Their winning percentage is 667. I know they lost today. This is before the loss today, but they're playing a lot better, dude. And Merrill is a shortstop playing center field. He's a rookie. He's an exciting player. Maybe this is what the Padres need. They need that young blood to play better baseball, right? His average before, was 268 after those whole games. I believe it's 80 games, or no, I want to say 74 games. The last 18, his average is 333, 7 home runs, on base percentage is 771, 371. Slugging went out. Look at the difference. 712. So that's crazy to see. He is a shortstop playing center field. And for the Padres, this is a scary thing if you're not a fan of them, because if you are a fan of another team and you're seeing the Padres, you're like, whatever. No, this is good because the Padres have been good for the last 4 or 5 years. And for you to sit here and say that Padres are not good and not going to do anything, that they're just a team that they have Manny Machado. Manny Machado is a cancer, dude. This things right here. This is what I like to see from young studs. And I mean, you can't pass this up. That's why I was talking about him being in the All Star. And the Padres, dude, the Padres are doing really good to me right now. And they could be probably in the power rankings later on. We'll talk about it as well. But do you agree with me? Or maybe I'm just being a little fan of the Padres because I'm saying all these things about them, right?
Oh, don't let your Dodger friends hear this, Carlos, because
Yeah,
they'll be
right?
upset. But it's
Yeah.
definitely, you're totally right. The Padres are playing much better baseball these days. It's a team that's found themselves and they're finally competing. Pitching has been much better. The bullpen's held his own. And you have Jackson Merrill, a young rookie that just keeps coming through for the Padres every time they need him. You got Luis Arias always staying on base. Manny Machado, what's going on? It feels like every time there's drama with the Padres against other teams, he picks it up. And Jerickson Profar, the guy that was called Mr. Irrelevant earlier this season. Well, he was involved in another feud this week. If you guys don't know, they went ahead and played the Nationals earlier this week, and Jerickson Profar hit the game-winning hit, celebrated a little too much for the Nationals. That the following day, obviously they threw a ball at him and hit him, and then a feud started, which wasn't a fight, but a feud started in the field, saying, "What the hell's going on?" Manny Machado stepped up and defended his guy. And guess what? Jerickson Profar later hits a grand slam to win the game as well. And Dave Martinez, the Nationals manager, comes out to say, yes, we did hit him on purpose. We just didn't like how he celebrated. So what do you think about that, man? Every time the Padres are in some drama, they come up and show up. And that's something that's really scary to see a team in the playoffs, because it's a team that does have talent. They are receiving Drew Darvish anytime this week, should be
Mhm.
returning. And I don't know, man. Manny Machado, he comes and shows up when he wants to. And I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Preller sneaks up something under his sleeve and pulls out a trade to make this team even better going into the playoffs, because they're definitely a wild card team going in. And I think everybody knew they had the potential, right? But now
Mhm.
they're showing it. I think towards the end of the June, they decided to get swept by the Mets, which shocked everyone. But no, they switched it up and they beat the Brewers 3 out of 4. They went ahead and swept the Nationals, and then they beat 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox in Fenway, which was really impressive. If I was the Dodgers, I do not want to see them in the first round. Just saying that.
I don't. I don't want to see him. And you might call me whatever you want to call me. Oh, you're not a real Dodger fan, but I'm a baseball fan first. sometimes. And when you see teams that are playing good baseball and they go into place to playoffs this way, imagine the season was to end today and we were to face the Padres. Will we look good against them? Will we line up against them? And that's the thing that you got to answer yourself and be honest and say, you know what? I don't know. The Giants gave them a little bit of a run to this weekend. And I just don't see the 6, 7, 8, and 9 batter for the Dodgers that are not doing all that well. And I know they've picked it up in the last 2 weeks, but it's just I feel like they need something to spark that lineup up. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's because they're probably slacking off a little bit, and maybe they're going to pick it up after. Because remember, the Phillies have the right mindset of saying, we're not worried about the season. We're worried about playoffs. That's when the real season starts. And
Definitely.
if you have that in your head, and you plant it from the day one when you step into that room and in the what do you call it, spring training, then of course you're gonna have that mentality. So I don't know. There's a lot of things going on right now, and I just feel like the Padres are doing the right thing. And Preller, of course, he's gonna have a trade because if he doesn't show up to the playoffs this year, that's his head, and he's gonna go. And of course, he's gonna make that trade. I mean, if he leaves, it's going to be like, all right, I traded off whatever I needed to do, and whoever comes next is going to have to deal with it. So we will see as the season goes on. Of course, we're going to have this show here whenever we go into the All-Star break, and of course, we're going to go into the trading deadline, and hopefully, we get to see a lot of tradings. I think pitching is the top priority for every team, so we'll see. If you haven't seen the show before, and then this is the fantasy baseball, they talked about certain pitchers there. I won't spoil it. We have Will, we have Kevin, we have Javi on that show. I believe John didn't show up at one, but he's part of the show as well. They talk good stuff on that show. I want you guys to go see it. It's a show before this one. If you guys need fantasy help, that's the show to see. Let's move on, man. Do we get into the next topic, or do we get into power rankings already? What is it that we do?
It's up to you, man. We got power rankings if you want. We got also the Corey Seager story.
Oh yeah, let's go into the Corey Seager story, man. So I'll go put it and put the video on. Where's the video? Where's the video? Where's the video? There we go. It kind of snuck away, dude. So I'll put it on.
That one came inside. They have to check to third to see if Seager went around. Blazer says no, but now the concern is with Seager.
Oh,
hear that?
Man.
Did you hear that?
You hear the F-bomb by Corey Seager, man. That looked really painful. Another wrist hit by pitch, man. I'm not sure what you just posted there, but it looked like Orioles keep doing this to a lot of teams. So I don't know what that means. What are you trying to say by that?
So fans are coming out from the Texas Rangers saying, I guess they've seen other players get hit in the hands, and they're saying that the Orioles are going after the big players. Ooh. I don't know if it was a game it was the Yankees-Orioles game where Aaron Judge got hit. I wanted to go back and look for it. I ran out of time. Sorry, guys. But if you do know if that happened, I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why Ranger fans feel like, okay, they're going after the best players, and Corey Seager is the best player on the Rangers squad. So, I mean, Jamal, maybe you can answer that for us. But that's crazy, dude. I just feel like the Texas Rangers might have, opened someone's eyes and said, "Hey, the Orioles are going after big players. Like, that's not cool, dude." So,
yeah, I think that Aaron Judge one was just because it happened. Unfortunately, it was two big stars that got hit by a pitch in the wrist. Then we have the Mookie Betts situation, which also happened. It's not something you want to see in the game of baseball, obviously, but I think it's obviously a mistake by a pitcher. It slips on their arm and they missed the pitch.
Yeah,
but luckily, Corey Seager. Just a quick notification, quick update. It looks like Corey Seager's wrist came up negative, his X-rays. So looking like he still will miss some time, but not that significant time like Mookie. So that's a good thing for the Padres. Sorry, not for the Padres, the Rangers. Because they are a team that is struggling. It seems like they are in a hangover, and is a team that needs to step it up if they want to win that AOS. I think Jamal brings up a good point from the earlier topic. He's saying that you can make a case for Jackson Merrill to take Trey Turner's spot. He brings up options like Willie Adames, which has had a great year. Ellie De La Cruz, which is my favorite. I think he should be the starter. And CJ Abrams. He's another guy, young stud, that continues to play really well. If you guys remember, he was part of the Juan Soto trade and has turned out to be a great player. Those guys are great. Like, I think Jamal makes a point. Their guys are better than Trey, but in terms of games played and what they produce, got to look at those guys over Trey this year. And it's totally true. Trey Turner definitely missed some time this year, but Trey Turner does bring that spark into the offense when he is hot. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of options out there, a lot of young, great players in short, and we're seeing being produced yearly. You're seeing a new guy come up to the league and just taking over. So, I don't know.
Definitely.
I like all those options, but it sucks that Mookie's not there. It sucks that Mookie's not there because it could have been his first time being in the short in the All-Star game. That would have been cool to see.
That would have been crazy to see. Which I mean, we'll talk about that later when he comes back. I just don't agree with him playing shortstop. There's a lot of plays I felt like they would have been made a lot easier would it not gave those stress innings to a pitcher. But that's another topic for another day. Maybe for when we get closer to playoff and it continues to happen. There was something else that happened in the MLB, and this one was about the Cleveland Guardians, dude. And I'll go ahead and post this up here. And this one has sound. I believe it has sound. If it doesn't, we'll talk over it. So it doesn't. So it looks like this guy hit a home run, and I'm trying to remember his name is
Jhonkensy Noel.
What was it?
Oh man, I'm probably butchering this name, but I think his name is Jhonkensy Noel.
It is Jhonkensy.
He just recently got called up from AAA. As you guys can see, it looks like he hit a bomb. You can't hardly tell from the video, but a lot of people are calling this a foul ball. But the MLB umpires call this a home run. What do you guys what's your take on that, man, Carlos? Was it a home run or a foul ball?
Dude, off the bat, I'm gonna say he hit a bomb. Like it looks like he was just sitting there watching it. But when I look closely, and you look closely, of course, the pole is there, but there's a black pole. Look where the black pole is at by the Royal sign, and then it comes down by the H. There's a black stick sticking out, and I'll go do a little close up so you guys can see. So the ball is going to be by the Royal sign, and then you see the black spot right there, that black pole. The ball hits right there. That's outside the foul ball line. That means it's not a home run. That means it's not a home run. So I don't know if they came back and they said, "Hey, it's part of the pole. That means it's a fair ball, and that's why it's a home run." So that black part shouldn't be part of the home run. It's not even yellow. So I think MLB got it wrong. It is a foul ball, but in the Guardians, I was going to say Indians again. The Guardians came up with runs with that home run, and that was a crazy play, dude. The umpires are not getting it right this year. We've been talking about umpires all year long, and this is another mess up they do, man. And I feel like it's just getting old. You have the replay, and it's not even working for you. What the hell's going on?
Okay.
Right?
I understand that the umpires keep messing up this year, and it's been a problem all season, right? But that one was definitely one of the toughest ones I ever seen. Even in slow-mo, guys, you guys got to defend the umpires in this one. That's definitely a tough one to call. And even after the video slow-mo, like Carlos just showed, I wouldn't have never even seen it. So it's a tough one, man.
Dude, but there's guys in New York that get called, be like, "Hey, can you check if that was a home run?" And I'm like, "All right, let's close up where the ball is at. All right, that hit this. All right, if you can see the ball going through the pole, then that's a foul ball." Like, come on. You only had one job and you messed up. Like, come on, dude.
Oh, man. I wish the MLB would show how it looks inside of New York and how they determine these calls. That would be an amazing thing to show.
I would love to see that. I will pay to see that, actually. I would love that. Another one
I always question, are these guys really paying that much attention? Or, are they just kind of like, whatever. Just give them the home run. I don't want to look into it.
It could be. They probably be drinking beer or whatever.
Exactly.
And then they're calling, "Hey, the phone's ringing." Oh man, again. Like, I was having a good time without them calling me. And then they pick up. All right. We'll look right now. And then they're like, "I need to go to the restroom." They go, they take their sweet time, they come back. Because some of them take like 7 to 10 minutes, and you're like, "God damn, why is it taking so long?" So
true.
I mean, let's look at the other one. There was another mess up, and this one you told me about. So I'll put it on here. Umpires are discussing. You want to give the breakdown for here?
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is a Jose Altuve ejection today. First ejection since 2016. Looks like Jose Altuve hits a foul ball that actually ricochets from his cleats, and they actually call him out. There was a base runner in second and third with 2 outs with the potential of getting the lead, and they call Jose Altuve out, saying that it did not hit him. As you clearly see here in the video, the ball actually touches his cleats, and that's why the ball kind of deflected from there and kind of slow roller and got out. And Jose Altuve didn't even run. He obviously thought it was a foul ball. He was waiting for his next pitch, but nope, he was clearly out by the umpires. And after further review, it looks like he should have gotten another opportunity. What's going on with these umpires, guys? Is it time to look for some new ones, some with better eyes, or You know, it's tough out there, man. Umpires have a really tough job, and you got to give them props for some of the calls they do make. But there is time and time again where we see a really bad one from a weekly basis.
Dude, I've come on this show and I said that the umpires being an umpire is really hard. I did it for a game, and I do not want to do that again. I did it in a little league game, and that wasn't fun at all. You had parents from the other side not liking me, parents from the side that I went to root for didn't like me, and it kind of sucked. But I know they're professionals and they need to get the call right. I know I'm one of the guys that say I don't want the robots. Sorry, I stuttered. The robots into baseball. Why? Because I just like the human aspect of making an error and all this stuff, which it's human instinct, right? But if this keeps happening, guess what? Robots are going to be part of the MLB and they're going to be in the game. And now we're going to have a game where it's just robot driven, and I don't want that. I like I said, I've advocated to not have robots into the game, but I think we're going to be the first sport that has that. We have instant replay, which was adapted back in early or mid 2000s, and now they want to add this. I just feel like I'm against it. So hopefully these guys do get it together and they get their glasses straightened out, and they got all these things that are helping us better the game. But I like I said, robots for me. I mean, what do you feel about that? Do you feel like the robots should be part of the game because of all this?
Oh man, it's a tough one. I definitely like the automatic ball system they have, the ABS system they have in play. I think I do want to see that one. There's a lot of times where the ball strikes are really off, and you've got guys measuring, doing so much analytics, saying, "Look how much off it was from the strike zone. It should have been a ball, should have been a strike." I think I like that one where the fact where a player could have the opportunity to challenge, hey, can you take another look and see if that was actually a ball strike? There's been a lot of crucial 3-2 counts where a guy gets called out when it should have been a ball 4. So
Yeah,
I think if a player wants to challenge that just the same way as a little small timeout, you have the opportunity to check it quick and get it fixed in there.
Nice. Well, we'll see what happens next year because it looks like they might do it, and
yes,
we have no say on it. We have no vote, so we'll see. We'll have to wait for next year. One thing before we go into the power rankings, I did want to talk. We want to talk about the Yankees, and we wanted to talk about what happened here. If you guys haven't seen, can't post a video because we would get copyright. But this is a conversation, Stroman and Judge, and this is what Ernie was talking about earlier. What do you think he said to him, dude, in this conversation?
Well, you clearly see that Judge is talking to Stroman after showing so much emotion going into the dugout. He clearly has to talk with him saying, we don't do that here. Put it away. We don't need to see that here because, you got cameras everywhere. And in the today modern day baseball, everything is shown to the fans. And you get to see how, people judge you based on what you do in the dugout. So, and Stroman has had history in the past where a lot of people don't really like him for showing his emotion. It's a guy that does have passion for the game. And every time he strikes out a guy, he goes back into the dugout pumped up. In this case, he was really upset at his own teammate, Gleyber Torres, who has been not doing the greatest this year. It's a guy that is going into his free agency, wants to perform better, but unfortunately hasn't worked out for him this year. And I think as the captain, Judge just finally spoke up and said, hey, man, I know you're the new guy here. That ain't cutting it, man. And what are your thoughts? Are you happy the captain spoke up?
I'm happy he spoke up. I was really impressed with Judge, as you can tell from when the Dodgers play the Yankees. I was all about Judge, and this just add to it how he stepped up and he said, "We don't do this here, but I'm gonna hear you out. I'm gonna be here." And it looks like he was hearing them out, and he was saying when Stroman was leashing out whatever he was saying, I guess Judge was like, "I hear you, but we don't do this here. This is not the Cubs. This is not one of those organizations you played before, like the Mets, where you can throw tantrums and you're okay. And we'll say that there's rats in the dugout or whatever the excuse was when there was fights with Lindor and all that stuff. So with the Yankees, you nip it in the butt right away. And this is what Judge did. And I really, really happy he did. That's what a captain's supposed to do. You're supposed to hear him out, but then you're supposed to lay down the law, which he did. And this is where he kind of told him, hey, dude, we don't do this shit right here. We're the Yankees. We're the 27 champions. You're 27 champions in New York and in the MLB. So we don't do this. If you want to do that, go to another team. So basically, he was just like, nah, we're not going to do that. So yeah, we just wanted to go over that. Yeah, it's impressive.
And
go
it's
ahead.
Because right after this scenario, the Yankees went ahead and started playing offensively much better. They ended up winning the game 16-5 after being down into the game. So Marcus Stroman got pulled out of the game, and then the Yankees offense came to take over. So, that's where the captain's supposed to do. We're down right now, but we'll find a way to win. And that's exactly what the Yankees did. And that's the difference this year from the Yankees than last year.
Definitely, because he was in the IL last year, and
For a
he
long
couldn't do
time.
that at the wrong time. Exactly. One more thing I want to say: they only won 3 games in their last 10, and are they going to be able to do something and move forward? Maybe they need a spark, and that's what Stroman was probably trying to do. And I mean, could it be a thing where like some of the Yankee players need that spark to get back up? But they're still playing good baseball. They're in
There
second
are.
place now. But I mean, it's one of those things where they're gonna make trades. They're gonna get a lot better. We're hitting the
Definitely.
All-Star, and that's gonna give them a little bit of rest.
Yeah,
With that, go ahead.
no, I just
Go ahead.
want to add one more thing. Man, I'm
Go
adding
for
too
it.
many
Go
things.
for it.
I just
Go
feel
for
like
it.
the Yankees had a rough stretch this week. They had 2 bad performances by their starter, Luis Gil, that's been outstanding this year. Carlos Rodon had a rough start. Garrett Cole had 2 rough starts to start the season. He kind of picked it up today, doing much better. But it's obvious it's going to happen when you come out of the IL, guys. It takes a couple starts before you get back to your routine, and that's how what happened to Cole. And then Marcus Stroman not performing well against the Blue Jays, which must have been frustrating to face his old team and struggle. And there goes a firework. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
We're here in LA. There's fireworks every day. So just any moment you hear firework, that's the LA live show.
You're supposed to say all day, day.
Yeah, all day, every day. There's fireworks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. With that, let's jump into the power rankings. And we have the power rankings here. As you guys can see, the ones for Ernie and the ones for mine. Let me go ahead and move this banner from the bottom so you guys can see the bottom. What power rankings belong to who? You want to go ahead and start with yours, Ernie?
No, I'm gonna give you the opportunity. You go first this time.
All right. I'll go ahead and start. So I'm gonna start from the bottom up, and the reason why I started with the Mariners at number 10 is they've been playing horrible baseball these last 10 days. They've been playing only 3 wins in their last 10. That's not good. That's not gonna do it for me. You have the Astros, you have the Texas Rangers that are struggling. If someone else would have been taking the part, the Angels are in a 5-game winning streak, or what is it, 5-game winning streak, Ernie? You said
Angels were 6.
6-game winning streak. There you go. If they start picking it up, they'll be in that mix. So no one wants to take that AL West. And for me, the Mariners are number 10. They're in the first place. They're still playing a lot better baseball than a lot of those teams under them. You have the Red Sox that didn't play that well. They didn't perform well this past weekend and that week. So that's why they went down. So I'll keep them at number 10. Number 9, I have the Padres. Like I said, the Padres have been playing really good baseball. So they've won a lot of games lately, and they won 8 out of 10. So they're playing a lot better baseball. They're getting on base. They're moving them over. They're hitting 261 as a team. And dude, I just feel like they're going to be on here for a while if they continue. I feel like, look, if the Padres do what we talked about earlier, they'll be able to move up on these rankings. And then we have the Twins. The Twins, for me, I just feel like they can move up if they make a pitching trade later on. They won 6 out of the 10, and that's why I have them number 8. Number 7, I have the Braves. The Braves haven't been playing all that great baseball, and that's where I feel like they could do a little bit more, and maybe with trades would be a lot better. But in their last 10, they're 5-5. Then number 6, I have the Brewers, and I still like the Brewers, dude. The Brewers are 6. They won 6 out of the last 10, which they're still playing pretty good, and I think that's where I feel like it's going to change for them if they get a pitcher. The Yankees were number 1, number 2 in the past weeks. I moved them down to number 5, like I said. In their last 10 games, they've only won 3 games, and they're struggling right now, and that's okay. But number 5 is still the top 5, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me having them at number 5, but I just feel like the Orioles are better, and that's why I have them at number 4. They're 5-5 in this past week. They haven't been playing the baseball that I'm used to seeing with them. They are first in batting average. They are first in stolen bases. They are first in home runs. But the thing is, are they winning games? And that at the end is what shows up in the scorebook. And then you have the Guardians. The Guardians, I had them in number 5 for the longest. And I wasn't a believer. Now I'm a believer. These guys they're the second best record in the MLB. And for them, I have them at number 3 because they're hitting a lot of home runs this past week. They hit 17, and that's really good if you want to be moving up on our power rankings. And then the Dodgers, a lot of people are going to probably say, why the Dodgers are number 2? They've been traveling a lot and they still have a winning record. They have a 6-4, 7-3. Sorry, 7-3 in the last 10. They're still playing good baseball. They did lose the series against the Giants, but they're still hitting the ball and they're still up there in batting average. They're still up there in home runs. They're still up there in OBP. They're still up there in every category. They're second or either first, third, and they're in the mix. And of course, we have the Phillies in their last 10. They're 6-4, and they are hitting 261 as well. But they're in the power rankings. They're on top as well. They have their batting average in number 1, number 2, and then they have home runs, stolen bases. So I just feel like this is the power rankings I put out, and you might disagree with it, and it's okay. Like Ernie has a different one than me, and that's perfectly because we all think differently, right? So that's what I have. Go ahead, Ernie.
Oh man, well I have to disagree with you there. I know the Mariners have definitely struggled there. That's why I have them at 9th spot today, even though they're leading the AOS. But the Padres, for me, it's an inconsistency, and that's why I can't move them any higher than 10. For me, I still have to see a little bit more before I move them even up to the other levels, other rankings. I'm sorry, but yeah, the Padres right now they're playing great baseball, right? But I still need to see a little bit more before they move up over the Mariners. And then we have the 6, 7, and 8 just alike. I totally agree with you there. The number 5, I've definitely have the Guardians at number 5, given the reason they lost 3 out of 4 to the Royals. You have to beat your division teams because there's no way you could be losing to them and expecting to be on the top 5. So it was kind of a bad week by the Guardians, but it's still late June. Tomorrow we start a new month in July, and I expect different things for the Guardians. The Yankees, like you said, have been underperforming lately, so that's why I have them at number 4. Dodgers, like you said, they continue to play a little bit better in the road, but there's something that's missing from them. That 6-9 batting order is questionable. They need to make some moves before I move them to the top first. And then I have the East Coast favorite teams, the Phillies, Orioles 1 and 2. I think they just been overperforming compared to everyone else. And Gunnar Henderson keeps leading that team with Anthony Santander that keeps hitting bombs. They have some question marks in pitching, but I do see the Orioles in number 2. Phillies, what can you say, number 1, even though they lost 3 of their star players. They've lost JT Realmuto for a month. Bryce Harper went down with a hamstring injury, and Kyle Schwarber's also out. So there's a lot of question marks there, but for now, they're still number 1, given their pitching is one of the best rotations in baseball. And all these teams, like you said, are desperate for pitching, except the Phillies. The Phillies are deep. They could use some bullpen help, but for now, given their rotation, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. They are number 1 team in baseball. Man, there's a lot of similarities, but our tank kind of matches here and there, but there are some concerns. I don't know how you have the Guardians at number 3, Carlos. I'm going to question you that one all week.
Well, that one because they played better in the beginning of the week, and they've been hitting a lot of bombs, and I know for sure that I've had them at number 5 too long, but I feel like the Orioles haven't been playing consistently like I've seen them play. The Yankees definitely belong in either 4, 5, or 6. I have them at 5 because the Brewers. I mean, if the Brewers played a little bit better this week and they were at 8 or maybe like a 7-3 or 8-3 this week, I would have them a little higher. The Yankees not performing, and then the Orioles 5-5 this past week. I just feel like they could have been a lot better. They weren't playing big time teams. They were playing a struggling Texas Ranger team. So that's why I kind of had them a little lower. And then you have the Guardians. I know they lost 3 out of 4 against Kansas City, and you said they need to beat their rivalry. I just feel like they did enough to move forward because they are on top of batting average. They are on top of home runs, and you don't have the Orioles. I mean, the Orioles are good. Don't get me wrong. It's just it could have been either or. So I just wanted to move the Guardians a little bit higher because I just feel like they've been performing better for me. And the Orioles, I'm not taking anything away from them, but their record tells me otherwise. And that's okay. At the end of the day, it's kind of like the record, right? Or averages and home runs, who hits this and who's that. So that's why I picked them. That's why I picked the Guardians.
No, I could see that because I could. Thanks for proving your point, because I do know that the Guardians did beat the Orioles earlier in the week, 2 out of the 3 games. They did get a chance to face each other, and the Guardians did definitely show that they have potential to compete with the AL East. So
yeah,
that was an impressive feat, but I think they just worn out once they faced Kansas City. They were too tired. And that's potentially, that's what happened. When you give it your all in one series, but then you come back tired after traveling, that could hurt your team.
Definitely, dude. Definitely. All right, let's talk about Bobby Bonilla Day. I know I didn't mention this earlier, but
Oh,
Bobby
okay.
Bonilla's every July 1st. Every July 1st, they pay this man. And that's what it's called Bobby Bonilla Day. If you didn't know what happened, the Mets signed Bobby Bonilla to a huge contract and they deferred his payments for 20, 30 plus years. So this man is still getting paid. He's going to get paid till
35.
29 or 20, 30, 35. There you go, 2035. They could probably even renegotiate that contract and extend it even more if the Mets wanted to. But they just want to get rid of that contract. Deferred payments were way before Otani was even playing baseball. Was even probably even born because this contract was done back early 2000s, I believe, and or 90s. I don't know what year it was, but dude, it's crazy how this man is still getting paid by the Mets. He's on the payroll, and they were giving Otani too much crap because of the deferred payment. So if you didn't know, that's baseball knowledge. That's baseball history. You knew
Cool.
about Bobby Bonilla Day, right?
I definitely am aware of Bobby Bonilla Day. Now I got a question for you because I wasn't born to see Bobby Bonilla play. Well, I probably was, but I was too young to watch. I've been watching baseball since I was 5 years old, but I don't know anything past the 1996 season and before. Quick question: was a Bobby Bonilla contract a bust for the Mets? Was it like one of those like terrible contracts?
Definitely, dude. I mean, the Mets are kind of known to have those not so good contracts. That was one of them. I remember Bobby Bonilla playing for the Pirates with Barry Bonds. They were a good duel. They dominated the East when he was playing out there, and he signed with the Mets, and he did not show any potential there. I guess I don't know what happened with Bobby Bonilla going to New York with the Mets, and the Mets are known to have these contracts. Recently, we just had Scherzer and Verlander. They traded them off, and they have worked big contracts. And I just feel like the Mets are not. I don't know, man.
They're
I
bad
just feel
luck.
like yeah, it's just bad luck, dude. I don't know who likes playing out there. They're doing it right now. They're doing okay, but I just feel like that contract sucked. They even signed Mo Vaughn, if I remember correctly. He didn't play all that well there either. So like the Mets, I feel bad for the Mets. They had these teams, these players show up there. They had the Groms. They had who else?
Dude, they had
Uh,
a young roster. They have a Noel Syndergaard, Jacob
no,
DeGrom,
yeah,
Zach Wheeler. If you put it
man,
like, wait, all these guys. I mean, I know Noel Syndergaard fell off the map, but obviously all those players were just stars.
yeah,
One of the most memorable Mets player growing up as a kid was Carlos Delgado.
yeah.
Uh, Jose Reyes, guys that played great ball out there and brought some interesting times for the Mets.
Yeah, I remember Mike Piazza went to that team. I remember Todd Seal. I don't know if you guys remember. Todd Seal was a third baseman. He played for the Mets. He was really good, and they went to the World Series with Mike Piazza and against the New York Yankees. It was a Subway Series. We got to see that. We got to experience it. And they still didn't win. They went one not too long ago. The Mets went to the World Series with the roster you just mentioned. So it's just a little bad luck for them. It sucks. But we have one more question I wanted to ask you before we end. We have 2 minutes. Do you see any big trade happening before the All-Star break?
Oh, man, I don't see it happening just yet. There's definitely going to be some rumors. I definitely feel like the Blue Jays are going to make the first trade, and I think Justin Turner may be one of the first bats going.
Really?
I think
Damn.
I think a lot of teams could use a veteran bat like Justin Turner, and I think it's time for him to find a new home.
Damn. I don't think it's going to happen before the All-Star game, and if it does, I'll be really surprised.
Okay, I could see
And
that.
I think I don't know, depending on how it goes for the Blue Jays from here on out, I don't see them trading anybody. They work so hard to get this roster together. Maybe like a Justin Turner, they will, like a Springer, maybe they'll trade him off, depending who needs a right-handed batter. Because those are two big bats in the lineup, even if it's just presence. But I don't see like a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. going anywhere
Okay.
unless the Yankees pull something off to where they can leave, like dump someone off to the Blue Jays. Then that'll happen. But I just feel like the Blue Jays work so hard to get this roster, and they let
Definitely.
go a big part, which is BJO was part of that. And
Yeah.
that's where everybody's feeling like maybe the Blue Jays are just gonna give up already. And I
It's
mean,
looking
it
like it.
sucks. It sucks. It sucks because I kind of see Vladimir Guerrero finishes his career as a Blue Jay, but we will see. Only time will tell. We did reach our time, which is the hour. We are the Power Hour. I'll give you your last mentions, Ernie.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching this show and staying with us a whole hour. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe if it's your first time watching. We will be back next week, hoping to bring all the best baseball news we have here for you guys. It's going to be a 4th of July, one of the best times in baseball with Americans' pastime, baseball, man. The greatest sport that has been here in the United States.
Yeah, and if you have time, go ahead and watch The Sandlot. I usually watch The Sandlot with my kids and everything, or my family. We watch The Sandlot on the 4th of July. We put in like 60s music. You know what?
Cool.
We put some Creedence,
So
Beatles.
I was actually watching the Sandlot last night. And a fun fact, Benny Jet Rodriguez, you want to know what was his full name? So his name is actually not Benny. That's his nickname.
It's Benjamin. Benjamin.
Okay, but he has a middle name.
He has a Benjamin. He has a middle name. Benjamin. Damn. Hold on. Is it a president's name though?
Maybe.
Man. Okay, I can't think of it. Just tell me, what is it?
It's actually Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez. Wait, what the hell's going on? It has a president's name.
Yeah.
It's a movie that you watch so many times, but you catch little things every time you watch it. I think that's a cool, awesome moment watching that. And I just saw, I'm a big Angel fan, and this is the first time I just realized that I can't remember the character's name, but he's the second baseman that plays second in the movie. Has an old school 1961 Angels logo hat, which is impressive. It was the first LA Angel hat.
Yeah, you need to get it. And if you can't get it, ask these guys to get it for you, because I like that hat. It was the first Angel hat ever for coming up to the major leagues. So if you guys have it, or you guys know where to buy it, let Ernie know, or get it for him. I think that'll be amazing, so he can wear it on the show. From all of us here on Real Talk Baseball, I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Ernie Orange. We will see you guys next Sunday. Signing out.